Are we heading towards a new tax regime? A new tax that you and I may have to shell out. How to make more money out of thin air. Namaskar, this is Ratna. You are watching Empire Diaries, our independent digital platform. The climate change talks in Glasgow COP26 are over. Preparations were huge. Thousands of cars and planes with delegates headed to Glasgow to attend the summit, leaving a massive carbon footprint.
All nations have a good standard of living and a modest footprint.
It was like a grand party, but it was far from being democratic. Instead, it was a battlefield where three powerful international lobbies fought a bloody war. 1. The lobby that makes money by selling oil and gas. 2. The lobby that survives by burning coal for its energy needs. And 3. The clean energy lobby, which wants a fossil fuel business to shut down so that it can happily make money from clean energy projects.
And pollution.
The summit was dominated by lobby groups, not just diplomatic missions, and this is clear from who attended it. According to a BBC report, 503 delegates linked to the fossil fuel industry attended the talks. It means there were more delegates from the fossil fuel industry than there were from any single country. Brazil, with a team of 479, had the second largest delegation after the fossil fuel industry. Lobby wars are fine if they result in positive action, if they result in controlling climate change, if they ensure fossil fuels will stay underground. But that was not the outcome of the war of the lobbies in Glasgow.
But the great news is, together, the world has made some important breakthroughs.
This is leader to Alpha Bravo. We're going for refuel.
When the
Roger,
dust
leader.
settled, the oil and gas lobby emerged as a winner. It stamped its authority by declaring that it will continue to drill for oil and gas. Cleverly, it said it will offset the damage by planting trees in other parts of the planet. The idea has been called net zero. It's a trick term, just a jugglery of words. The war in Glasgow was also a defeat for clean energy lobby. It failed to get the oil and gas companies to promise a drastic cut in carbon emissions. For the coal lobby, COP26 was a mixed outcome. It has been made solely answerable for most of the emissions. So the oil lobby got away scot-free. The coal lobby is a new villain, and the clean energy lobby stays in the sidelines.
For the first time ever, we've got over 190 countries all agreeing to sound the death knell for coal power.
Days after the climate summit, US President Joe Biden's government was preparing to auction off vast oil reserves in the Gulf of Mexico. Huffington Post reported that Biden's hands are tied, even though he supports emission cuts. What does all this mean to us? How does the outcome of the Glasgow talks impact our lives? The climate crisis will continue. Glasgow has ensured that. So are we heading towards a new tax regime? Most likely, climate change tax. That could be our future. No reduction in emissions, but the introduction of a new tax that you and I may have to shell out. You may wonder, why should we worry about climate tax? It's not here yet, but we should definitely watch out. That's because these powerful lobby groups have only one thing in mind: how to make more money out of thin air. Their track record shows they will want to profiteer from this climate energy. It could be their single point agenda. Have a look at the history of alcohol and tobacco. Long back, when the world started worrying about alcoholism, there was a debate on whether alcohol production should be banned. But the booze industry defeated its opponent. It agreed to be taxed by governments for selling alcohol freely. The result was that governments began to collect huge taxes from the alcohol producers. They started earning a lot of revenue, and alcohol sellers added the tax to the price of the bottles. So alcohol buyers started to pay those taxes. Governments and many experts argued that taxing booze and making it costlier has forced many people to move away from alcoholism. But there was consensus to keep selling alcohol despite its dangers and make the public pay taxes. It's the same story with cigarette companies. First, there was a lot of worry about the negative effects of tobacco, but cigarette production was never banned. Instead, tobacco companies agreed to pay hefty taxes to governments and shut them up. They happily recovered the money from cigarette buyers. So alcohol and tobacco are still around and the public pays all the taxes. Similarly, we may see carbon emitters continuing to make emissions but happily paying taxes to governments for damaging the atmosphere because they know that they can find a way to pass it on to the public and their business will continue. Well, there have already been years of discussion and debate about things like carbon credit, carbon border tax, and cap and trade. Take the case of Europe's new plan to impose carbon taxes on imported goods. It's obvious that the tax will be added to the price of the products and the buyers will finally pay for it. The issue is not about whether we should pay climate taxes. The issue is fossil fuel companies will freely continue to release emissions, but the public will pay taxes for the sins that the companies commit. For more such reports and stories, you can log on to our website empirediaries.com. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.